Sadiq Khan finally seems to have realised that a stabathon in London isn't all that great for his reputation. So that's why he's now begging Sajid Javid, the new Home Secretary, for more money. Let me start by saying that I'm not actually against giving more money to the police in London. The Tory cuts have been, well, extensive. I'm not saying they weren't necessary. I mean, sometimes austerity is necessary. You can't just spend money you don't have, but at the same time, as I've said numerous times before on this show, the Tories haven't exactly been great at spending money wisely. So the cuts are a big issue that we can talk about separately, but the thing is, as well as giving the police more money, Sadiq Khan needs to be thinking about how he spends the money he already has. He seems to finally be getting the message now about a few things, one of them being stop and search. I mean, he's got his own version of stop and search. He calls it targeted stop and search, which isn't really stop and search at all. But not only that, he's now asking the Home Secretary for more money. And the Express has reported today, the Mayor of London admitted he welcomed Mr Javid's promise to increase funding, but desperately pleaded with him to do it sooner than the government's next spending review. He said, "I welcome the new Home Secretary's pledge to prioritise police funding. It's about time the government woke up to the stark reality of the cuts they have imposed, but waiting to the spending review next year is far too late. We have seen police officer numbers drop below 30,000 in London for the first time in 15 years, and it's not sustainable." And I would probably agree with him. If you're going to be pumping more money back into the police, do it soon. Obviously, something needs to be done. I suspect the reason Sadiq Khan wants it done sooner rather than later is because the more this happens in London, the more it hurts his reputation. I think Sadiq Khan would be perfectly happy if this was still happening, but it wasn't being reported on in the media. If these crimes were being committed and Sadiq Khan could still go along with his equality and diversity policies, and banning this and banning that, without people knowing just how bad the crime rate was in London, I think he'd be just as happy. But he knows his reputation is going down the tanks. Khan even had the cheek then to say that Sajid Javid must, quote, really understand the issues facing the police by giving them proper funding and powers. I mean, sure, Sadiq Khan, you really understand exactly what London needs, right? That's why you've got 900 plus hate crime officers working for the Metropolitan Police, and you're allowing the Metropolitan Police to spend time, energy, resources and money on becoming more ethnically diverse and more representative of London. Really? You think that's what London needs right now, is a diverse police force? I don't care if every single police officer at this point was a fat butch woman. It doesn't really matter. We just need police officers. Who cares if it's representative? If they're all white straight men, so be it. Let them go and do their bloody job. Side note, by the way, has everybody seen this video of the police in, I think it's York, it's not in London, but you know, this is a problem that's widespread across the UK, and I thought I'd throw this in here. Have a quick look at this video of the police in London. This is exactly the kind of stuff that Sadiq Khan lets the police officers in London get away with, by the way, but this was in York. Have a look at this. Isn't that just embarrassing? You know, our police force, which was once so respected and once so great, and now wandering around in high-vis jackets and their normal police outfits, but they've got these big things around their neck, they've got whistles, and they're celebrating gay pride. What's gay pride got to do with the police? What? I mean, one thing I noticed, actually, I went to gay pride with the old Rebel team last year to report on it. Now, I hate all this gay pride crap. I don't care if someone's gay, but I don't like the LGBT agenda. I don't like the LGBT political movement, because that's what it is. It's political. It's political homosexuality. Why can't you just be gay and not make it political? And what I realised and thought about when I was at that thing, which, by the way, was awful. I couldn't stand it. It was horrible. But why is it that the police go to gay pride and they dress up in colours and whistle and celebrate, but say the police are there attending an EDL rally, why aren't the police, dressing up in EDL colours or something. I mean, it's the same thing. These are protests. The police shouldn't be showing favour as far as I'm concerned. But the reason I show this is because it's not just York where this happens. It happens across London as well. As I say, unfortunately, I was at that gay pride thing last year. And I saw the police doing all this same kind of crap. Why are we allowing this to happen? Why does Sadiq Khan allow this to happen? I mean, also, it's really fascinating that a Muslim would even allow this stuff to happen, because we know what his religion says about gay people, don't we? Being an officer in London at this point, it must be a pretty easy ride, mustn't it? I mean, you either put your feet up and have a cup of tea and spend the day scrolling through Twitter on your computer, or you get to go and have a dance about in the street. Or if you have to go and attend a burglary, you just go there, tell them, oh, I'm very sorry this happened, but there's not much we can do. But back to the Express. Sadiq Khan says the Tories have cut Met Police funding by over £1 billion since they entered government in 2010. Now, that is a lot of money, but in all honesty, if they hadn't have cut that money, I'm not entirely sure that Sadiq Khan would have been spending it in the most positive of ways. I'm sure there are lots of diversity programs and Muslim programs and this, that, and the other programs that he could have spent that money on quite easily. So actually, maybe there's an upside to these cuts in London. But in all honesty, in all truth, in all seriousness, these cuts are a big issue. But imagine what could have been done with the money that the Met Police actually has if they prioritised it properly. Imagine if Sadiq Khan was actually sensible fiscally and thought about, well, maybe we should be cutting back on programs that aren't affecting people's safety. Maybe we should cut back on programs that really only matter to people on an emotional level, and maybe we should be focusing instead on the safety of the people of London. Imagine what could be achieved with that, even on a fraction of the budget of the Met Police. If you really trimmed down the resources, if you really took it down to the bare basics and got those basics right, then imagine what could be done in London. London could be a safe place to live. Following a night of 3 stabbings in London, which left 1 person critically wounded and 2 people injured, Sadiq Khan is now calling on the Home Secretary to give more money to London police. And maybe that's a good idea, but maybe it'd be a great idea if we had someone other than Sadiq Khan in charge of the money. Imagine what could be done outside of increasing spending in London. Imagine what could be done if we didn't implement feckless immigration policies and import the worst of the worst into our capital city. Imagine if our police officers weren't just sitting around policing the internet. And imagine if we didn't have to monitor tens of thousands of jihadis on the street. And imagine if we didn't have to let the police just dance around in the streets celebrating gay pride and God knows what else. Imagine if police didn't waste time on that. Imagine if we weren't wasting resources trying to make the force more diverse and more representative. And then imagine if our government didn't spend more than £13 billion in foreign aid. Imagine what kind of money could be put into London. Imagine what could be done in our capital city. Imagine how safe people could be. Sadiq Khan, yes, maybe the police should be getting more money from the government, but it's your responsibility to prioritise your resources and spend that money wisely. It's down to you to stop this violence, and for God's sake, care more about the safety of the people of London than your own reputation. If you want to see more from me and the rest of the Rebel team, remember to download our app on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, and like and subscribe.